tech stack, is there anything else that we haven't covered? I think we've talked about like the main like operational kind of tech stack stuff. Are there other pieces that you're thinking of that we haven't talked about yet?
I mean, the one that always comes up, and I regularly do some reach out on LinkedIn just to get feedback on it, is payroll.
Oh yeah.
Payroll for me is one of those technology places where it's definitely changed over time. And a lot of the time, I believe, I mean, there's a couple of the big players which I will be like, you've got to get off that platform. It is hard.
Who are they?
I'm not going to say it over here.
Can I say one?
If you want to, because the problem is if I say a name, I'm going to go into a rant, and it's not going to be pretty.
That's fair. Okay, I'll try to keep it not at a rant. But QuickBooks Payroll Online, do not use it. Do not use QuickBooks Payroll Online. It's garbage. It's
just QuickBooks Payroll full stop is garbage.
Yes, 100%. Can I give an example?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a client where, in theory, the engagement with QuickBooks Payroll is that they file the taxes. 90% of the time they do. 70% of the time they do. Something like that. And then just out of the blue, you get a nasty gram from some random state. Hey, by the way, we noticed that you didn't file your taxes, and because of this, you got this late fee. That's like, and that looks really bad on me as the accountant, because now it's giving the impression to the client that I'm falling down on my responsibilities. Like, no. This was part of the terms and conditions, the service that they agreed to, that they were going to do this.
Yep.
Oh, we missed it. But like last quarter, you didn't miss it. It's just like this quarter, you missed it.
Yeah, that's pretty much my complaint as well. And the problem is that they don't take responsibility for it, right? If the payment doesn't go through, it's like it's your baby.
Exactly.
I've had this with other payroll companies where like it has happened, and they go, "Oh shit, sorry."
Yep.
We'll try our best to get it like sponged, and if we don't, we will pay the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had clients have the penalty paid on their behalf by other payroll companies. QuickBooks, I always get like a shock, like, "Oh yeah, QuickBooks are doing it for me." I'm like, no, they are not.
They are not.
They're
running like one of the only ones that aren't. Yeah, they're like one of the only ones that aren't, which really is surprising and you only realize that until after you've run into issues like this. I mean, as much as I had some challenges with Gusto, I will say, like, at least at the end of the day, they did take accountability for like the end result, and that did get filed. QuickBooks Payroll, nope.
Yeah, no, I'm very much against QuickBooks Payroll. We've got clients on it, and it's they've made the decision to take it on. But I do laugh because I tell them it's really hard to use, and you can never find reports, and they literally ask me for the same report every 3 months. Like, how do you find this again? I'm like, give me a second to Google it because I've got no idea. You did mention Gusto. It is my favorite payroll platform. Yep. So in my eyes, they can do no bad. Though I am intrigued that they hired a few people from one of the other payroll companies that I don't like in fairly high positions, which makes me very nervous about the go forward. So something I'm definitely keeping an eye on. Yeah. If you're hiring people from a payroll company that's not really working anymore, I'm a little intrigued. They've got good resumes, but they were part of a team that is really failing in the payroll space.
Interesting. Very interesting. One of the things we talked about in our last videos is, again, the difference between your and my firm. And I think one thing you've got going for you is you do have more clients, many more clients than I do. And I think one thing I am okay with saying with Gusto is I think Gusto is a great solution when you can get dedicated support. But if you don't have dedicated support, which you're not going to get dedicated support if you only have like 3 clients or 4 clients, which is like, kind of the size that I'm playing in. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that dedicated support, it is a really poor experience. That's the reason why I left Gusto.
Yeah, to tell the truth, I've never had a problem with their help desk. And even when I do, I quickly realize that person doesn't know the answer, and I'll just hang up and phone back again. That's my solve. And that's with most help desks, to tell the truth. It's not just the Gusto specific. You really have to be able to read the room. And I think sometimes people are like, I spent 5 minutes on the call waiting for somebody. I'm going to, soldier through and use this person. But if you can hear if they don't know, it's either, you either got to just like put down the phone, or you have to say, can I speak to somebody else that maybe has more experience in this space? And then it'll be fine. I mean, so that's part of it. I mean, I like Gusto mostly because it's easy to use. Employees can take responsibility for their own documentation, onboarding, bank details, right? It's not a step we have to take, and we're not responsible that we could like mess up entering data in.
Yeah.
So I really like about it. They are thinking about technologies and improvements for accountants as well as their clients.
Yeah.
So they do have a very good sense of, I got to help the people who are going to run the payroll as well as the people who are using the payroll. But with any software, you do have to understand what the limitations are. And I always try to tell people, like, if it's over 20 employees, Gusto is not the option for you.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, once you get to a certain point, you have to go to a bigger player.
Okay. Like an
Another
ADP
thing that,
kind of thing?
hmm?
Like an ADP, or like who would be a bigger player?
Yeah, ADP would probably be our next on the list, sort of on that space. The other place as well is and I think this is where a lot of people like, they're a tech forward company, but they're really aren't made for tech companies where there's 700 different, employee benefits. Like once your employee benefits get a little bit wild and there's a bunch of them, it's not that it can't do it. It just becomes a little bit, complicated, especially if you have benefits running outside of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So that's another place. Like if you're starting to just keep adding benefit after benefit after benefit, and it's not something that's already showing up on Gusto, you probably should find another company.
Yeah.
And there's a very good chance at that point anyway, you need something a little bit more dedicated.
Yep.
And I think people don't figure that out, right? You need, like, this is almost like self-service platform. At some point, when you reach a certain size or complexity, you either need to hire a payroll specialist company that's all they do all the time, or you need to hire someone internally that can handle it, because managing the benefits on payroll is a fun job.